Comfort zones are tricky. They feel great. That's why they're called comfort zones. And you don't kind of feel like you need to move out of them. What's this got to do with lipedema? We have to be permanently out of our comfort zone. I'm afraid with lipedema, we have to constantly do the hard things, and we are already uncomfortable. So, doing harder things that are uncomfortable in the mind, not just in the body, is like too big of an ask, right? Now, I went through a stage quite a few years ago where I got really deep into the work of Joe Dispenza. If you've never heard of him, please YouTube him, Google him, go check him out. And he talks about rewiring the neural pathways in your brain to have a better life, right? So every habit that we have, everything that we do, everything that feels normal to us has a neural pathway in our brain. So it's like these little synapses that join up and form this pathway of things that like we do on rotation. So it's like when we first start to drive a car, everything's like, oh, so many things to think about. You know, when we start a new job, oh my God, so many things to think about because we don't have neural pathways for them yet. As we do these things over and over and over again, we form a neural pathway for them. So that's when we suddenly have that moment of realization when we've driven home and gone, God, I don't even remember driving home because our body's just on automatic. We're on autopilot. We know how to do it. We know how to get there. We just don't even think about it. That's because we've got very strong neural pathways of the things that we do every single day. Our body is really, really smart. So when we stop doing something, when we stop a habit, whatever the habit is, or stop doing something every single day, a skill that we might have learned, or riding a bike. They say it's as easy as, getting back on the bike or riding a bike again. Our body has to relearn that. But when we stop doing these things over a period of time, our body's really clever and sort of says, oh, we don't need that. Our body doesn't actually waste things. So our body says, oh, we don't actually need that neural pathway. But hang on, she's doing this thing over here now. So we kind of need to build a new one over here. So it kind of disintegrates the old neural pathway and builds a new one. And if you keep doing that same habit over here, then that neural pathway gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, our brains are designed to break down old neural pathways and build new ones. And apparently that's what happens as we get older, where they say you have to do jigsaw puzzles and things like that to keep your brain building new neural pathways. And that's what keeps us healthy and stops, things like dementia and Alzheimer's and that sort of thing. I don't know a lot about that. So that's my very basic rudimentary understanding of that. But here's the thing. When we're building a new neural pathway, it's actually uncomfortable. Our brain is doing something that we're not used to doing. We're doing habits that we don't have a strong connection for yet. So it's not easy. I mean, you think about how uncomfortable it is learning to drive if you're a driver, or how uncomfortable it is starting a new job. You're just constantly feeling like, oh, God, I'm never going to be good at this. How am I ever going to be able to do this? It feels uncomfortable. You get a pit in your stomach, right? So that it's just, and it's not painful, it's uncomfortable. It's this horrible discomfort that you just think will never go away, right? Which causes cortisol. It causes stress. That discomfort causes some stress because we just don't think we'll ever be good at something. And it's not true. It's not true. But while we're learning that and while we're repeating something and while we're enforcing that habit, whatever the new habit is, it is uncomfortable. Okay. While we're going without something, it is uncomfortable. I always find it really interesting when I look at lipedema. Lipedema is physically uncomfortable. It physically hurts. It physically causes us pain. And then you add on top of it the habits that we need to start implementing in our life to make lipedema better or to not let it progress. And then you've got mental discomfort on top of the physical discomfort, and I would say even the mental discomfort causes a physical discomfort on top of the pain of the body as well. I think that's why we feel it so deeply. It literally physically makes us feel uncomfortable and like something's not right. So we've got discomfort on top of discomfort. So that's why it's really, really hard when you've already got a physical issue, a chronic physical issue that you know you can do nothing about, but the best you can hope for is to do things that doesn't make it worse or doesn't let it get out of control or doesn't progress, or if you have the surgery, doesn't let you go back to where you started from, is uncomfortable. Doing all these things is super uncomfortable. Have I got an answer for you? No, because I don't have an answer for myself. The only answer that I find works for me, and that's all I can share, is knowing it's uncomfortable. And there's a comfort in me knowing that's okay. I'm in that uncomfortable phase of building new neural pathways, and that's okay. That kind of makes me feel better about where I'm at physically and mentally. That makes me go, oh, you know what? When I started doing those calf raises, if you've watched the calf raise challenge, it was uncomfortable doing 20. By the end of the challenge, I was doing 150 twice a day, right? Because as time went by, I built new neural pathways for my brain to go, no, no, you can do 150. That's easy, right? And that pathway, even though I stopped doing the calf raises for my surgery, for my lower body lift, and so it probably started to disintegrate, when I went back to them, I did 50, then I did 100, and then I got back to my 150 probably within a week or so, like really swiftly, because that neural pathway hadn't completely disintegrated yet, in my opinion, right? Okay, I know this isn't science, but it was very quick to go back to what I was doing beforehand because my brain already knew that I could do that. But that also tells you how long it takes to get rid of a bad habit, right? Because your brain holds on to that dregs of knowing what something feels like or knowing what something, what food item gives you a dopamine hit or that sort of thing. Our brain is a bunch of chemicals that can make us feel bad or feel good. And I'm going to be constantly searching for the ones that make me feel good because that's the only control I've got in life, is to make myself feel at peace and to make myself feel good. Nobody else is going to do that for me. No tablet, no little, happy pill is going to make me feel the kind of peace that I want to feel, even though I've got lipedema, even though I have thyroid disease, right? I will constantly search for the things that will make me feel, and even if it's hard, because it is hard, it is uncomfortable. But I'm hoping by sharing with you what that discomfort is when we change habits, when we, try to put new things into our world and our life to make us feel better physically, is going to be uncomfortable. And there's a very good reason for that, but it doesn't last forever. I know that makes me feel better. So I'm really, really hoping that makes you feel better. And put a sign up. I keep signs. You can pause that if you want, but nothing that is meant for me will ever pass me by. It's safe to let go. Remember to have fun. The universe doesn't send you anything you're not ready for. Put the signs around the house to remind you that changing habits is just simply building new neural pathways, and that's uncomfortable. So put signs everywhere around the house. It's okay. You're just building a new neural pathway. It's like having a baby, 9 months. For many of us, pregnancy is not an easy joyride, right? It's hard work. But you're building something. You know that at the end of that, God willing, there's going to be a beautiful baby. So you just kind of do it. So it's the same with building the correct neural pathways for you to have a healthy life. So I just wanted to share that because Joe Dispenza's work actually changed the way I feel about things. And he has got a million videos on YouTube. So just punch in his name. I'll put it down in the description box and just see if any of his words resonate with you because he explains it really super simply. And he actually he came about this work because he rewired his body. I think he was in hospital. It's been a while. He had some kind of accident. I'm going to say a diving accident or something like this. And they didn't think he was going to walk again. And so in his brain, he rewired his entire body by imagining all the neural pathways and all of this sort of thing to work again. And he achieved it. His story is fascinating, even though I've probably butchered it. But listening to his words, he's got lots of books, he's got lots of meditations, he's got lots of things. I didn't go down that whole road. I think I got a few of his audiobooks, but I'm not sure I ever listened to many of them. I tend to just listen to him on interviews when I need a little bit more of a pep talk around keep going. I know it's hard, but it's worth it kind of talk. And with lipedema, we kind of need that every day, don't we?